dreamers, a happy, scrappy group of believers. So come, play a part. There's room for mistakes and messes and art. Who cares if there's not many takers? We're doing it for the makers.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the For the Makers podcast. We are so glad that you are here today. You guys, this is the second season of this podcast, which is so amazing. So just a reminder, we do release the For the Makers podcast on the second and fourth week of the month on that Friday, because you clap on the 2 and the 4.
Not the 1 and the 3. 1,
Yes.
2.
Those are
3,
allies
4.
right there. Those are some allies.
Exactly.
Straight up. So you guys, make sure and hit us with a subscribe, hit us with a review if you like the content that we're putting out. We're really having a great time doing this podcast, so we hope you guys are enjoying it. In case you don't know, my name is Leah Etheridge. I'm one of the hosts of the For the Makers podcast, and I am here with the one and only Rachel Gifford.
Hey.
Who is also a host of this podcast. And we just can't wait to bring some really incredible stories to you guys. And hopefully it inspires you, whether you are an artist or not, to make or go see art, because it's really important. So Rach, who do we have on the pod today?
So we're pretty stoked to have Antonio Brown on the podcast today.
Oh my God, hi.
Oh my gosh, hey,
I just
Antonio.
walked in here and I was like, hey, what's up?
He was like, where did these microphones come
Oh my
from?
God, am I sitting down? Oh
Wait,
my God, wait, is that?
That's
Wow.
so weird.
That intro dropped my jaw. Like, actually though, that intro, I was gabbed. Gabbed.
I'm so glad. Wow.
Rach really did a number on that.
No, that was not a
truly.
number. That was like the number. That was all of Les Mis.
Wrapped up into one song.
Yeah. Actually, that was my inspiration, Les Mis, for that song. I know. You really...
Artists know.
Artists know.
Artists
We
know.
just pick up on things.
Of one mind, truly.
Yeah.
All of us.
So, Antonio, I'm going to do a little cold reading of your bio.
Oh, please. I
How's
love
that
cold
sound?
readings.
Antonio's originally from Elyria. Is how you
Yes,
say it?
that is how you say it.
Elyria, Ohio. And he's currently based in NYC. He's an actor, singer, dancer, and writer.
Come on.
Here we go. Antonio Emerson Brown. I love your middle name, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
It's my great-grandfather's first name.
Oh,
Love that.
That's awesome. Keep it in the family.
Keep it in
Love
the family.
that. Is a multicultural ball of sunshine. This is true.
That's true.
Who can't help but tell a good story. Storytelling is more than his passion. He can't stop even if he's tired. Oh, even if he tried.
Both are true. Both statements are true.
Totally misread that.
Both statements
This
are
is
true.
going really well so far. Some of his favorite shows include West Side Story, Altar Boys, and Band Geeks. If you can't find him performing, you can see him spending time at the Drama Bookshop. Yes, looking for some new plays to read or gaming on his custom-made PC, Hobbit PR, 49 minutes, 48 seconds, and 217
Milliseconds.
milliseconds.
That is, yes. And that is, for your record, that is a very average speed run of The Hobbit. If you remember, PR stands for personal record.
Yes.
The Hobbit, okay, hold on a second. Let me educate.
Pause.
Okay. If you'll see here on this blackboard, you'll see The Hobbit.
I'm so glad you brought that
If you
today.
don't know what The Hobbit is, you need to educate yourself in J.R.R. Tolkien right now.
Yeah,
However,
exactly.
if you do know what The Hobbit is, then you should also know that there is a GameCube game of The Hobbit, which goes over all of The Hobbit and not, for some reason, split into 3, like the movies. And it is quite a good game. You can finish it in approximately 2 to 3 hours, if you wish. However, if you were a child like me and you have nothing else to do, that does not include reading, educating yourself, bettering yourself, touching grass, going outside and getting fresh air, and you're bored during the summer and you need something to do, then you try to finish a game as fast as possible, because why not?
Because, correct.
I need to flex on people. That includes the non-playable characters inside the game that have no consciousness when the console is not turned on.
Yeah.
So you try to run the game as fast as you can, and so me and my friend have a deal that in all of our bios that we write, we have to put our current personal record for beating the game as fast as we can. And yeah, if one of ours gets lower than the other one, then we have to beat it.
Yeah.
We have to beat it.
Do you currently have a GameCube right now?
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
I have
well,
many consoles.
Then we need to play.
Well,
some
what do you want? We have a
games.
GameCube. I got a Nintendo 64. I've got a Wii U.
Let's go.
I'm kind of a Nintendo stan.
Love that.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
Nintendo 64. That was it.
That is everything.
Yeah.
It honestly is everything. Coming full circle, to be topical, actually, Nintendo 64 is actually kind of where like a lot of my love of like music and composition starts. Mostly with like Super Mario 64,
Yeah.
Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie. It's just like so fun and so whimsical that I would like literally try and make my own Mario level theme because my grandma had a piano.
Yeah.
And so I'd be like, Grandma, listen to this. And I'd be like, beep, 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 like pressing random keys. And she'd be like, oh my God, it's so good. And it
You're
probably was
sweet, Grandma.
so horrible, but she supported me. And I can never thank her enough for that. That was
Wow.
great. That's a real one right there.
Oh, come on.
That's such a sweet story. Okay, wait. This is perfect because I have to read the rest of your bio.
Oh,
because
there's
it's so,
I wrote more?
There's more. Well, the ending is so.
Oh,
is
I
so
forgot I
sweet.
wrote more. Okay,
Yeah. What if, I mean, you could just end with your Hobbit.
No,
PR
no,
and be
please
like,
keep going. No,
drop
please.
the mic.
Or
You know what I
if we're
mean?
talking about me, I'm egotistical. Please continue.
Well, this is the part where actually you're quite selfless because you say Antonio's career would not be possible without the countless people who have supported him and continue to support him, including, but not limited to, his family, friends, and the many, many patrons at his day job that wish him good luck in his endeavors every day. Your support means more than you will ever know. I mean, Antonio.
It's true.
That's the sweetest ending to a bio.
It's so tendy.
It is.
It
It's
is
so tendy.
At first, like when people would wish me good luck at my day job,
What is your day job?
I am a server because
it.
I love being stereotypical. You know, got to do like the acting, serving thing. It's my
Totally.
favorite.
100%.
But like, no, it just pays the bills and whatever. I'm good at it, and I'm not afraid to say that. And it's like
Yeah.
another opportunity to perform if you really think about it, which
Yeah.
sounds like a cop out, but it's like actually really true.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
But yeah, at first it like really bothered me when people would tell me like good luck, break legs or whatever, because I'd be like, thank you. While I like, you know, have like a beer stain on my apron and I'm carrying like 2 plates of like half-eaten mozzarella sticks to put
without
back
a
in
doubt.
like the bus tub. But like after a while, it like, I don't know, like I think I just kind of got over myself and I was like, these people don't even know who I am and they still like want me to succeed. And that kind of like, I don't know, I started crying at work. People were like, dude, are you good? And I was like, yeah, it's just like, the love right now is just so strong.
Yeah.
It's just permeating the walls.
Yeah, it really does. I think that I'm a barista for my day job. So like
Queen.
there is
She's a barista.
a barista.
A barista.
If you will. But there are people who know that I'm in the theater world, and like while I'm like, do you want oat milk or whole milk in your latte? They're like, oh well, what have you been working on creatively right now? What are you doing? What where can we watch? What can we do? And it's like that. I don't know, the fact that other people who don't know you that well are that interested in you succeeding and what you want to do is pretty special.
Yeah, it's kind of like a feeling like none other, honestly. Yeah, just like I said, man, I just can't like because I don't know, like especially with like social media now, it's so easy to be mean to people. Just kind of
Without a
like
doubt.
walk away or like turn off your phone and be like, schooled him, bro. He might not read this comment, but I made it. There's nothing you can do
Hide
about
behind
it.
your screen. Yeah.
Yeah, but like when people go out of their way to like wish the best for you, even like after just hearing, they don't even hear your whole high life story. They're just like, oh, you're an actor, and you're like, yeah. And they're like, oh my god, like what do you do? And you're like, oh, I just act, I sing. They're like, oh my god, like I can't wait to see you on a marquee. Like,
Yeah.
good luck, like break legs. And like every time I'm like, thank you for believing in me.
Yeah,
Yes.
really.
But like unironically though,
Yeah,
unironically.
without a doubt.
It's just, well, and you just never know, especially here in New York. Like, you never know, like your server at a restaurant, they're probably pursuing something else. And okay, also, I went to Friedman's the other day, the one in
The one in Midtown?
Midtown
Yeah.
that has,
Oh.
they do the singing servers now.
Yeah, yeah.
And holy smokes, I was like, these people are so freaking talented. Like, I mean, you just never, I was like you are so good. I was like, oh my gosh. She had this like gorgeous, just like old timey jazzy, like
come on.
That's
warm
great.
tone.
Yes.
But like her range was kind of insane.
Yeah.
And darn, I wish I remembered her name. I need to get better at that. I would give her a shout out right here on this here podcast.
Just know, excuse me, woman at Friedman's, I've never met you. I don't even know if I've ever gotten the chance and the pleasure to meet you, but shout out to you, girl.
Yeah,
You
truly.
are killing it. And if you're listening to this right now, you're a star.
Yeah. Keep going. Truly.
You're
Yeah.
a star.
Okay, so let's jump into the
Yeah, let's do
questions.
questions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll kind of go from there. LB, you want to do the first one?
Yeah. So Antonio,
So LB.
for our gentle listeners, remember this is how the podcast works. Is we have a list of 5 questions.
These are the rules.
These are the rules. We do not stray from the rules. No, but this is a list of 5 questions that we ask every guest, and it's just a way for us to kind of guide the podcast and get to know our guests better, and hopefully spark some really cool conversation. So the first question is, Antonio, what got you into the arts?
Just like my family's just really goofy. All of us, both sides, just a bunch of goofy goobers. And so we would just like, we would be doing the dishes and my mom would make a song about doing the dishes. Like my grandma would put on this song, like, I only want to be with you. I don't remember the name of the song, but we would just, na, 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 na. And I just remember I was like so little and like we would just dance around in like her like house and just dance to that song and be silly. My grandma would read me Calvin and Hobbes at night before going to bed and like do all the voices. And it was sometimes if I found like a panel extremely funny, she would go back and reread the panel for me and I would just keep laughing. My dad is the biggest goofball and he gave me the gift of his awkward limb movement. And his mannerisms. I met his girlfriend for the first time like 6 or 7 months ago, and when she met me, we were talking for like 5 minutes and she was like, I'm so sorry, but it is just so uncanny the way that you two are literally, like he warned me, but I was not ready.
Yeah.
I mean, me and my family, none of us are musicians. Well, my grandma is. She used to play the piano, and my great-grandfather, who I'm named after actually,
Yes.
was the choir director for his choir up in Michigan.
Wow.
And Indiana when they lived in Indiana back in the day. But like none of my family are artists. Like I'm the only one who does performing arts for like a living. And so, but my family was just so carefree. We just sang songs. We played music when we listened to stuff. Every like R&B song, soul song, Stevie Wonder, Louis Armstrong, Joe, Tevin Campbell, Guy, like all that stuff. That's my mom. That's my mom.
Wow.
No ifs, ands, or buts. Luther Vandross, all that. That's my mom. Frank Sinatra, like, and also other stuff too, like Frank Sinatra. I mean, just so many artists.
Yeah.
And that's just my family being dumb, but like fun dumb.
No, it's awesome.
Fum, if
Being
you will.
fum.
Totally. So what was your first show, or what was your first venture into performing?
So I have 2 first shows, and I will count both of them. My first show was I was in Salty Psalms, Chapter 3, and I was this child named, I don't even remember.
Wait, pause. Time out.
Do you know Salty?
You were in Salty?
You know Salty?
No, Antonio.
I thought this was something I made up in my memories.
Antonio.
Yes.
I truly thought that it was. I have no idea what this is.
I need you to know that Salty was my childhood.
Was it really? We
Yes.
used to listen to the albums. We had volume 2, 3, and then like one other random one that we would listen to in the car.
My sister and I were in Salty Live,
What?
like way back in the day, like at like a crusade. Yeah, legit. Like at a Billy Graham thing.
Billy Graham?
Straight
Let's
up.
go.
Straight up. Like that's crazy to
Okay.
me that you were in Salty.
Hold on. For our gentle listeners and for me, can you explain
Salty
what Salty
is
Psalms?
everything. Salty is this big blue book.
No.
Yes.
He's a hymnal.
He's a hymnal. He's a big blue hymnal. and he preaches the word of the Lord.
It's like
Is it like an animated thing?
It's like, imagine Barney, but if
Yes.
Barney was a Bible, and Barney had a wife that was also a Bible.
Okay.
And the Bible and wife Bible danced around with a bunch of kids and spread the word of God.
That is
Wow.
Yes, that's actually here. I'm gonna pull up.
yeah.
I feel
Gentle listeners, you will not be able to see this photo that I'm pulling up right now, but I will show
You need
Rachel
to-
Gifford
no,
a
you need to see
picture
it.
of Salty.
That's literally like for lack of a,
Salty
like for an extreme layman's term, like if I'm explaining to you astrophysics in like the most basic terms, that is
Okay.
what salty is. Wow. And it's phenomenal.
okay. So like this isn't like the Veggie Tales.
No, this isn't VeggieTales. This is something different. I mean, it's kind of in the same vein.
Okay.
It's got the same
can't
mission.
Yeah. Never heard of Salty.
Yeah. But like
Wow,
imagine if
okay.
like it was just like Bob and Larry, but like then a bunch of real life human kids.
Okay.
Not gonna lie, now that I'm looking at these pictures, this is terrifying.
Isn't that like so many things from
It
childhood?
is, but like as a kid, you're like, this is amazing. You're like,
okay,
this is-
so you were in a Salty Psalms
yeah,
show?
Yeah, it's like a show. So there were like different shows
Okay.
that dealt. I don't remember specifically what mine dealt with, but what I do remember is that my character had to cry because he was sad, because he was scared, because it was dark. And like we were by a campfire and he missed his family. And so I had to cry, and I brought the script home and I was showing my mom, and my mom was like, all right, let's practice lines. And I was like,
Oh.
yeah, you see it now?
Oh.
Yeah, you see it? Wait, can I get a good look?
LB
Justin?
just showed me the picture.
Oh God, that is way more terrifying than I remember.
Gosh.
But yeah, we rented out that
That's scary.
costume. But yeah, so like
Wow.
my character had to cry, and my mom was like, okay, like let's
Cry.
practice. Yeah, cry right now. She's like, cry. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna cry for you. She's like, come on, no. Well, you need to run lines. So let's run. No, and I like snatched the thing back, and I was like, I'm running lines by myself. And I did. And I never cried, except on stage. I did cry.
Wow, you
Yeah.
could just
Because
like
an
drop
actor.
in. Yeah.
I did cry
Just
because I was like,
Professional immediately.
yeah, absolutely. I was like, no. I was like, this is not. I was like, this is first of all, no videotaping. That's against equity rules in rehearsal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
but
were
I-
briefed. You were briefed.
Yeah,
on
I mean,
the-
like, honestly, like, I was just a super shy kid. Like, I loved singing. I loved that I was doing the show. I was in, like, the kids' choir for church. But, like, I would have to filter between, like, my real singing and, like, my church singing voice. I don't know if you have.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, like, when
Yeah.
you real sing, you're like, oh. But then, like, church sing, you're like, our God is an awesome God. He reigns.
Straight up.
Like just doing
Yeah.
the bare minimum,
Uh-huh.
like the like early 2000s version of Quiet Quitting.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
Without a doubt.
and like like I was so shy, and I like did not even now. I can't like because I work at Beer Authority is the name of my restaurant, and in case any of our gentle listeners want to come visit and sponsor
Yeah.
yours truly. But Ellen Stardust exists. People know Ellen Stardust exists, and they're like, "Oh, you're a singer. Why don't you work at Ellen Stardust?" And I was like, if I had to sing, run until that, and then go back to serving my table 3 seconds afterwards, I would die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would die. And there's something about like performing for 1,000 people, fine. Performing for like 5, I'm like, God, please no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Anything
so true. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I feel the same way.
It's worse performing for, it's even worse if you understand that the 1,000 people, there could be a couple of people in that audience that know you. Like there could be.
Yeah.
Sometimes there is, sometimes there's not. But the 5 people is horrible. But then it gets even worse if it's like your best friends, your 5 best friends,
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
or like your family.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when your family's like, "Oh, sing a song for us," and I'm like, "No,
Yeah. Absolutely.
no."
not. Yeah.
It's horrible.
They were like, yeah, my stepdad thought it was so rude that I wouldn't sing for my family when they would come to visit. They're like, oh, we hear you have these golden pipes. We sing us a song, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I refuse. My stepdad was like, that is so disrespectful. You need to share that gift with your family. They deserve it.
It's such a weird. It like feels like such a weird thing. I don't know. Okay, wait. So what was the second? For
Oh
show?
yeah, the second for show was like my first like proper musical theater or theater experience was The King and I was Prince Chulalongkorn.
Nice.
And I was like, I was like, Siam, biggest country in the world. And then all the kids go, whoa. And like,
Yeah.
I forget her name. Miriam. What's her name?
The
Getting to know you.
Anna.
Not
Why
even
did I say
close.
Anna?
Not even close.
Miriam, I'm thinking of
Sound of Music.
No,
Maria?
that's Maria. I'm just.
who's in Music Man.
Marion. Oh, that's what I was thinking.
Thinking of
yeah,
Marion.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I truly was like,
What
is
a-
it Miriam?
They are. I mean, listen. To me, they're the same character.
Yeah.
As far as I'm
A
concerned.
lot of those women are very similar.
Well,
yeah.
you know,
Unfortunately.
through a male lens. Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I was Prince Chewie Longhorn. It was the first time that I was a real part that had real lines. I had my own song. And the guy who played the king, his name is Alex Craig, was like everything to me. He was like literally because, well, first of all, you know, as a mixed human in theater, you get some decent benefits of, you know, being able to play a lot of different kinds of roles and nobody really bats an eye. But there are also a lot of unspoken drawbacks. Like you are never really black. You're never really white.
Yeah.
You never, and for me specifically, I'm never really Latino because even though I have the name, even though I have the color, even though I have the hair, like, even though I have my way of speaking, it's like not ever going to be truly what, you know what I'm saying? I'm like the safe pick. You know what I'm saying? I used to joke around, this is horrible, but I used to joke that like I was like the safe pick for someone who wanted to make their dad upset to date because like, you know, because it was true, because it was true. It was true.
Yeah.
You know? And like, I laughed about it, but now I try to take it more seriously because I'm like, oh, that is kind of like a really bold statement.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's true. Like, you know, people would be like, oh, like he's black, but he's not like black, you know? So it's like, you know, and the way I speak is it's purely because I was raised by my mother.
Right.
I speak this way. I speak like her, you know?
Right.
And so me meeting another mixed person for like kind of the first time for me was like crazy.
Yeah.
And I mean, we literally look like, even now I still call him Pops. I'm like, oh, what's up, Pops? But he taught everything, the getting into theater, like even just the way our characters were. He was like, he pulled me aside and he was like, hey, like, how old are you? And I was like, you know, I was in 8th grade. So I was in a high school play. I was in 8th grade, not even in high school yet, scared out of my mind. And like, he pulled me aside and he's like, hey man, like, how old are you? And I was like, I'm 13. He's like, oh, okay. So you're like about the same age as Prince Chewie Longhorn. And he's like, so like, think about it. Like, you know, what does he think of his dad? Like, you know, I'm your dad. Like, what do you think? And he was like, you know, me definitely speaking about my character, not about him at all, I'm sure. Was like, he thinks that he is everything. He wants to be just like him. And he was like, yeah, okay. He's like, so like, you know, just do that. And that's exactly what I did. So if he did something on stage, I'd do the same thing. And like, if he was like, the way he would talk, I would talk the same way.
Yeah.
And I mean, he really encouraged me, he inspired me. And I mean, and luckily, you know, he was a senior when I was a freshman in high school. So I got to enjoy one more year with him and his mentorship. And I mean, he's honestly the reason why I'm out here today.
Yeah.
Truly.
Wow.
Like that, just that, him taking the time to like, and I mean, besides just that moment, like he really took me under his wing and like made sure that, you know, I had a place here, that I was valued, that that if I wanted to learn more, he would be more than willing to put in the extra effort to take me with him. And that was like
Wow.
everything to me.
Wow.
Yeah. Having people that look like you and are like you kind of really does matter.
It does.
It's like, I like, as a child, I guess not knowing, I was like, who cares? I don't know. This can sound really horrible, but I had like a really ignorant phase, late middle school, early high school, where I thought, I guess I was a teenager.
I was about to say, we all go through that. I feel like
Yeah.
as like in high school, middle school, high school,
Yeah.
like we are the center of our world
Yeah.
and nothing else matters.
Yeah, I was
you
like,
know?
I have all the answers.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
That's stupid. That's dumb.
Yeah.
I was like, who cares if this character is black? Blah, 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 blah. You know, and then like, you know, while reaping the benefits of said representation, you know, kind of ignorantly, you know.
Yeah.
It's very easy to speak from a golden throne.
Yeah.
It is.
Totally.
But yeah, he was like everything to me. And that was like, after that, I was done. The first thing I did when I joined high school the next year was go straight into drama club. And I was like, this is what I'm doing. I didn't even care. I wasn't even in like the first show. I was like, I worked on the set, I worked backstage, I just anything to be in that space. Yeah. I mean, it's just, there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
There's no people like theater people. There's no space like a theater space. You know, it's like, I don't know, like for a long time, I wanted to be a mechanical engineer. I wanted to be a physicist. I was like, I'm going to do something with math because I really like math and I was good at math. And I was like, that's what I'm going to do with my life. But then as soon as I did theater, I was like, God, how do I explain this to my mom?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Totally.
So are you still in touch with the guy that played the king?
Alex Craig?
Yeah.
No, I haven't talked to him in a while.
Yeah.
I need to call him. I'm so bad.
Shout out to
Alex
though.
Craig. Dude.
That's so cool.
Alex, I just want to let you know, man, that I know I've told you like a million times, but I haven't talked to you in a while. That's my bad. I'm so bad at talking to people. I really am. And it's not because I hate you, and it's not because I've flitted away with you. I'm finished.
Antonio, please formally apologize.
Yes.
Right now.
I love you, man. I love you.
Yeah.
There's no
That's
better
so
3 words
cool.
than those.
I mean, that's the stuff right there. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Like 13 years old, you had somebody that you just like looked up to so much, and is still, as a grown adult, you're like, yeah.
It is so cool to me that this guy was older than you, but he was a peer.
Yes.
And like, that's really, really cool to me. Cause I think that lots of us have stories. Like my high school theater teacher was very influential in my life to push me into the arts. And I know lots of us have adults in our lives who are like championing us to do what we do now, but to have another peer who is not only, sees you and recognizes your talent and wants to come alongside you, but is also looks like you and is in the same world as you, understands more of your personal experience, encouraging you and pushing you toward a life in the theater. It's just so cool to me.
Yeah, it was really special. We had like a special joke because we're both Halfricans, for short to speak. And we were like, 2 halves make 2 holes, man. 2 halves make 2 holes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was special. You can't really share that with, it's like a special experience.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure we get to all these questions. So question number 2 is, why do you think the arts are important?
Arts are everything. Everything is art. Art is
Everything is
metaphor. Metaphor is art. I mean, without art, you have... Everything is art, truly. I mean, like, besides, the fact that we listen to music, watch TV shows, watch movies, see plays, read books, everything is an art. Math is an art. Like designing architecture is an art.
Yep.
And cooperation, elocution, the art of the deal.
Right.
Yeah. It's, I mean,
So true.
It's everything. I mean, and besides the fact that, it's fun and it entertains us. Like, what do you do, like, when you go home, like, after a day of work? Do you just sit there and stare at the wall? I think not.
Right.
I mean, and also, I was talking about this actually earlier with my girlfriend. I was like, man, like, people just are, like, the human race is just naturally creative, in my perspective. I mean, like, I think the greatest example of that was during the pandemic when people did not have to go to work and hopefully did not have to worry about their house and home and their food and where they were, what they had to do the next day. You know what I mean? Like, when you have nothing to do all day, like, all of a sudden, like, all these new artists emerge and, like, people are, like, writing shows and, like, writing music. I mean, I went out, I bought a piano, I bought Logic Pro X, and I bought an audio transmitter, and I started writing music again for, like, the first time in a long time. You know what I mean? And it was, like, in discovering, like, how much fun that was, rediscovering how much fun that was.
Yeah.
And people who I knew who were not artists were just doing stuff just because they liked it. I mean, they, like, started taking tutorials on how to draw. I had a friend start doing literary analysis and manga and like analyzing Japanese literature, and like it's just like, dude, when you don't have to worry about like surviving, like that's what we like to do. We're storytellers.
Right.
We're social human beings from an anthropological setting are a social animal.
Right.
Yeah.
We like to have discourse. We like to relate, empathize, sympathize. We love to hear stories. We love to get to know and understand one another. I think on a basic, at the most fundamental level, humans yearn for connection.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the arts is just another fancy way to connect with another human being.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And it can even like, we're so like socialized. I don't want to say that in like a bad way, but like we have these like walls that we put up for, you know, our social interactions.
Oh,
and
yeah.
art is a way of kind of being able to go a little deeper than the
Yeah.
normal connection that we have between each other. And so I think that's so true. We just long for a deeper sense of connection
That
as
is
humans.
such an elegant way to put it. It's like,
Oh, thanks.
no, it really is. I was like, yeah. I was like, oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, no, but for real, like, it is funny how people, I mean, just to give you an example, my friend, another one of my, I have so many of them. Thank God. God bless for that.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
a popular guy,
Oh my God,
Antonio.
stop. But one of my friends, I mean, he does not go see theater shows like at all. Like that's not what he likes to do.
We all
but
have 'em.
We all have them. But you know, he would come to see my shows.
Oh,
And one of the shows I was in, I came out and I asked him, I was like, oh my God, how was it? Like, how did you like it? And he was like, yeah, I cried. And he like never cries. He's like talk about a goofy goober. He's like a goofy goober.
Yeah.
Like singing the we're a goofy goober, yeah, kind of guy.
Right.
Like,
that.
and it was just so interesting that like this kind of, you know, for lack of a better term, this like wall that he set up for that area of his like emotions, like just theater just was like, nah, I'm gonna just go right through that really
Right.
quick. And yeah, that was kind of like everything.
yeah. It just has a way of, just getting in there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Getting right in there.
I was talking with a director friend of mine not too long ago, and she always talks about how like theater specifically or film, or I guess it expands to like visual art or other forms of art, music, concerts, things like that. Anytime that there is art being presented in one space and all of these people from different walks of life, different viewpoints, different political affiliations, different, you know, it's smattering of the human race, so to speak, all come to one place to have a collective experience, whether that is taking in a show, watching a movie, having experiencing a concert, or looking at a painting or a sculpture. And it will impact each one of those people no matter what. And all of those people are coming into one place to have that one collective experience. So it is kind of fascinating to be able to think about art in a way where it's like, whether it's the guy who doesn't go to theater and his, you know, it speaks to him in an emotional way that he hasn't thought about or experienced before, or whether it's the theater goer that's like a, you know, Shakespeare aficionado and like knows all of the language, like he's probably going to have the same experience as the non-theater goer is. And how interesting that is that art can speak to all of those people at the same time.
Yeah.
Or you could have somebody who's the Shakespeare aficionado and the non-theater goer, and they come and they have totally different experiences, which is also really interesting. So it's cool that that's like, you know, like Rach said, being able to take two people or a group of people that may never have gotten into the room together before or never would elect to be in a room together, and yet here they are in a room together experiencing art. It's just really cool that that's a reality of what we get to do as artists, is bring people together in that way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love what you said too about math is art, and like there's so many like we think so just like categorically with these things sometimes, but there's so much creativity. I mean, every job, no matter what you do, to do it well is gonna require some kind of creativity.
Without a doubt.
And that's just, but we don't think that way. Like we don't give I don't think we sometimes give people credit for that. The fact that like, if you're, you know, I don't know, even like serving, like that takes creativity.
Yeah.
It takes an art of like the art of conversing with people
Yeah.
and the art of
Like hospitality and yeah.
There's so many different things.
It's like math especially is a big one for me because people, like when I tell them, like I was going to school, I was going to university to be an astrophysicist. Like that was what I was going to do.
Wow.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I
is
took like
so
my
cool.
AP Physics C class. I got like the highest score on like the AP Physics exam for kinetics and E&M. And like, I was, like I like had like I don't know, like these numbers, these are just numbers to me now, but like back in the day it was a big deal. Like I had like a 33 on my ACT. Like I was
Brilliant, man.
I wish I was
Antonio,
brilliant.
I did not know this about you. That's so cool.
Thank you. I mean, well, it's like, it was honestly like, it's because like that was like a different part of my life, and that's what I was going to do. I was going to be an astrophysicist. I loved like Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I loved reading about like Isaac Newton and reading about like not Bob Saget, the other one. The mathematician. See, this is how far I've fallen.
I've fallen.
Yeah, but there's another one. He narrated, I believe it's called like Universe, before the one before Neil deGrasse Tyson. But anyway, I watched like Veritasium, Vsauce, like all this stuff, like super cool, like math, sciencey stuff. And I mean, like people were like, oh, it's just crazy how you came from such two different worlds, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but they're not really that different because you're really, I mean, like as an actor, you are simplifying things to their most fundamental form. And it's the same thing with math. I mean, force equals mass times acceleration is also an equation that has been simplified several times over. And to create that, I mean, that in itself is an art that we can appreciate. That is probably like the modern Mona Lisa of mathematics that everybody can recognize and know like, yeah, like that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Being able to derivate or integrate a function is, it's the fact that somebody saw those numbers and saw how they connect in that way is beautiful.
Yeah.
I remember the only stroke of genius I think I ever had in my life was when we were learning multiplication tables, and I realized that up until 9 times 10, because you only learn up until times 10,
Right.
up until 9 times 10, that every single multiple of 9, like if you added the digits together, it also equals 9. And it was just an easy way. And you knew that the multiple of that particular multiplication. So for example, 9 times 6, right? So the tens digit has to be one less, and then the ones digit has to add up to equal 9. So 54. Same thing. 9 times 3, 27. 9 times 8, 72. Yeah, 72. I know math. Yeah, and stuff like that. And it was just one of those things that like I came up for myself, and I was like, wow, God, I'm so good at this.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah, but like,
I'm like sitting over here thinking about all the times that I've babysat since moving here and like helping kids with their homework, and I'm like, oh gosh,
You're like, can you help me with this math problem?
And I'm like,
like,
no, please don't ask me to do that.
I'm dead. No, but math is beautiful. I mean, and it's, here's what I will say is that I knew I was definitely an actor because when we got into calculus, it's just numbers. And God, I hated it so much.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who likes calculus, even like mathematicians. I don't think they like taking calculus for the first time, right? Pre-calc and then calculus proper. But when we got to AP Physics and we got to kinetics and electromagnetism, that's when all the numbers started to make sense because they were being related. It was in relation to the way that our world works.
Right.
These numbers now had meaning and they were telling a story.
Oof.
And that is beautiful.
Yeah.
The fact that we in multiple different ways can tell a story through, whether it be through numbers, whether it be through, I mean, why do you think we still talk about the history of how things were made? I mean, even just like people like, I once read a Tumblr post about the history of this fan page and how it came to be. And it's like this beautiful documentary. My grandma told me a story about my forefathers that I never knew until like literally this Christmas. So apparently there were 2 brothers, Otis and Otis. They were twins. And they were one of 8 children. And Otis and Otis, one winter, go into the forest to gather some wood, to chop it up and put it into the furnace to keep the house warm, right? That's their job as the oldest men in the family. Well, they come out of that forest, and Otis is missing 2 fingers. They got chopped off while they were chopping wood. And everybody to this day tells the story differently, including Otis and Otis. They both told the story differently. And so what happened was, after they came home, they were like, well, it's like, late 1800s, early 1900s. Well, those fingers are gone. So what they decided to do was they decided to take both of those fingers, put each of them in a jar of formaldehyde. They preserved the fingers, and every family reunion, somebody would hold the fingers and tell their story of how Otis and Otis.
What?
Yeah, how Otis lost his fingers.
Oh my gosh.
Everybody tells a story differently. That's beautiful.
They hold the fingers.
They hold the fingers, yeah. It's just, and I was like, dude, there are so many stories. There's so many stories to be told that, like, I don't even know how. It's like I'm overwhelmed.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like drowning. It's like being in like the biggest library in the world.
Right.
All you got to do.
That's a good one.
It's true. You just got to know where to find the books.
Yeah.
Right.
Antonio. Come on.
That's a good quote.
That's a good one. We're pulling that one.
Yeah.
I was like, put that on the t-shirt.
Yeah,
It's royalty
exactly.
free. It's royalty free.
Exactly.
It is so cool that, like, whether it's a family story about how your particular family came to be with these, Otis and Otis like fingers, happening, or whether it's, math and figuring out how our world functions, or whether it's, like we were talking about earlier, whether it's a Shakespeare play or a musical, like all of those things people can hear the story of Otis and Otis, and immediately in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, my grandmother told me a story one time about how, like, they grew up, they're immigrants from Ireland. So there's like a bunch of like crazy things that happened with that.
Oh, the Irish.
Oh, the Irish. Wow. But there's like, so immediately stories engage us into thinking about our own lives or how the world works, and then thus how we relate to each other.
Yeah.
Immediately there was a bridge built between you and I on like crazy stories from our grandmothers. So it's kind of it's really, I love that you brought up the fact that, like, math is beautiful. I do not like math.
And that is so
I'm glad
okay.
that I was like, wow, math is beautiful.
Oh my God. No, it's okay. When people are like, I try to explain to people, one of my special skills on my resume is can integrate or derivate a formula on command. Nobody has asked me to do it yet. And I think that there's a lot of
missed opportunities.
I think there's a lot of math prejudice in the theater world, I will say.
100%.
A lot of math prejudice.
So, like, you want to do it right now?
Yeah, I'll do it right now. Just give me like any formula. It's give me a quadratic formula specifically.
What?
Go ahead, Rach. Give him a quadratic formula.
Can you give yourself one?
Yeah, I'll give myself one. Negative x squared plus 3x minus 4, right? So basically what you do is you drop the constant, which is 4 because there's no variable, right? You take the exponent, put it in the front, and that's now your new multiplier. And then you take away the variable with no exponent. So now it's negative 2x plus x or whatever else I said. So for example, for another one, like whatever. And then you can add plus c for like the constant if you're trying to figure out the constant of like the new derivative formula. So for example, like negative 3x squared plus 2x minus 4 would be negative 3x plus 2 or whatever I said.
Wow.
Right.
Drop the constant. And it's just literally like somebody, because now what you do is when you take the quadratic formula, right, that, say for example, that's somebody's position. Right. Now you have their velocity. Now you have how fast they were going.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah. And if you derivate that function again, then you get their acceleration. It's
I really
all
wish
intertwined.
that you were in my physics class.
Oh,
in
girl,
high
I'd help you
school.
out. I tutored many people and I would do it again.
That was the
Yeah.
one that's the one.
That's
that
the
got me.
one.
2 years ago, I helped my little sister. She called me up and she was like, Antonio. And I was like, yes, Sophia. And she was like, I know it's been like 5 years, but can you please help me with this math portion of my ACT? And I was like, oh yeah. And it's so funny because you think that you lose. It was like, in Ratatouille when he tastes
the
the flavors
strawberry,
and like you can just see
Yes, the
that's
colors.
what it felt like doing math again
love that.
for like the first
That's
time in
cool.
a long time. Like I just like, it's like, it reminds me of that one song, like the Golden Hour. Where, like,
Yeah.
the piano's like, da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. That's what I heard, like rewriting all the formulas and like
Oh, that's so cool.
figuring out everything again. And like, like it was like, I don't know. I miss math.
Have
then.
you read or seen Proof by David Auburn?
No, but I'm going to read it now.
Okay. You would be great
Is
in
it
that
a
play.
It's a play?
It's a play.
I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Another good one that has less to do with math and science specifically, but is math and science related. It's called Copenhagen.
Oh.
It's about the two scientists.
Yes, they're
Yeah.
making a movie about it.
Are they?
Yeah, and it looks really good, right? Am I thinking? Nope, I'm thinking.
You think of Oppenheimer?
Yep,
Different,
Also looks
but
good.
also great.
different.
Same
Same-
thing.
yeah.
Same guy.
Yes.
But not the same.
The same, but
thing.
not the
The
same.
same, but not the same.
Never mind.
No,
Okay, we have to move on.
I know. I'm so sorry.
Okay, no, you're good. You're good. So, we're gonna
We'll do,
rapid fire.
Yeah,
these
we'll speed round
last
these last
three
ones.
questions.
I'm a great at speed running. We already
Cool,
know.
cool,
So
cool. Yeah. So, what keeps you grounded as a human, Antonio?
acknowledging my failure and not being afraid of it.
Can you say that
Sure.
one more time?
Acknowledging my failure and not being afraid of it.
That is so good.
I know we have to rapid fire, but it's just so quick. I'm so sorry. I can't help myself.
Do it.
Yeah.
I went into a really big, like, depressive creative slump over the winter time. And I, like, woke up one day and I was like, actually, that's a lie. I didn't wake up one day. I had a conversation with Matria, my friend who I was telling you about earlier before the podcast started. And she was like, yeah, man, like, you know, like, an audition is just an opportunity to perform. That's all it is. And I was like, oh my God, you're so right. So I went out and the next day, I woke up at like 7 a.m., went out to the Equity office to do this audition for this random off-Broadway show I'd never heard of before that required a song that I did not have in my book. So I learned a song that night. And I just did like the weirdest, funkiest audition ever.
Yeah.
But my God, I was having so much fun.
Yes.
Didn't even care. And I know it was bad, but my God, I was living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes
like,
we need just to hit that reset button.
yeah,
Do
and
something
like,
like that. And
dude, I was reinvigorated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was reinvigorated, and now here I am.
yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much.
No, that's
No,
great.
That's good. Okay, these last two are easy to kind of breeze through a little bit more.
Yeah.
What person, place, or experience has shaped you the most creatively?
I would say, personally, Alex Craig and my theater teacher, Pamela Christian, Pammy C, all those things. She is all those. And I would say my very first like professional gig, which was for $125 for 2 shows for the whole summer.
Wow.
But yeah, like I was like, I'm a professional now.
Yeah, you
I
got
did it.
paid.
I got paid, baby.
Yeah.
That's it.
Bought myself like 2 video games.
Let's freaking go with that
Yes.
$125.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, and the last one is what book, play, or film do you think every person should read or watch?
Everybody who is in New York City or is close to New York City needs to go to, it's called Art New York Theater, and watch The Cotillion right now. I saw it last night, and it is quite literally the best piece of theater I've seen since I saw Hamilton, like
Amazing.
4 years ago. It is this story of these 6 black women who are doing a cotillion in the year of our Lord, 2023. And, you know, it brushes on the origins of the cotillion. It brushes upon being a woman, being a black woman specifically. It brushes on sisterhood, on prejudice, on self-prejudice. And I mean, God, I laughed, I cried, everything. I left the theater and I was still like, God, I still want to cry. It was, I mean,
Wow.
it was my tree walker is in it as well. She is
wow.
one of the singers for the cotillion. And guys, you have to see the show.
Okay.
Okay, I'm like sold.
Yeah,
No,
I know.
I'm
like,
serious.
Let's get tickets.
It's so good. Tickets are like $35. Please
on.
see them now. I mean, like, I don't know if I really hope that it gets to a bigger platform.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen anything like this. I
Wow.
never in all my years of seeing theater. It's just so good.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, okay. Thanks
Well,
for
we're
sharing
sold.
that one.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Okay, Antonio, where can people find you on Instagram?
People can find me at Antonio E. Brown on Instagram.
Amazing.
Please come. I'm going to be better about posting things, specifically that are not just like work related, but also like life related.
I love that.
Yeah.
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 Real life on the gram.
Real
You
life.
know.
Real life on the ground.
Real life on the gram.
And welcome to Antonio Emerson Brown's Instagram.
Right.
This is real life.
on the gram. And then you're also gonna be in Beautiful this
Yes,
summer.
you'll see me in Beautiful. If you find yourself in Columbus, Ohio, please come to Short North Stage. I will be a drifter / ensemble / dance captain. If you see the dancing, just know that I captained it, and you're welcome.
Hey, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah,
So
it is.
congratulations.
And
It's
thank you
huge.
very much. Thank you.
And it's
Yeah.
a great show too. So
It is.
super fun.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's
It is
beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful is beautiful. Antonio, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
We love you so much.
I love you guys more.
We really do. It's
This has
anytime
been
I
such
get
a
to
cool
see you,
conversation.
it's
I've
such
never
a
talked
treat.
about math for so long, but in such a beautiful way.
I'm so glad.
Exactly.
So thank you for that.
Well, thank you for listening.
Yeah. Hey, buddy, you're the best.
You're the best.
Yeah.
You the best.
You the best. All right, you guys, thanks for listening to the For the Makers podcast, and we'll see you later.
Thanks for listening to the For the Makers podcast. To find out more about Seated Productions, you can visit our website at www.seatedproductions.com and follow us on Instagram at seated.productions. And if you love what we do and want to support us, you can make a tax-deductible donation by visiting our website or by following the link in our podcast description. Until next time, listen well and tell stories.